All right, welcome back, everyone, to Good Morning Wilmington. Our next guest is, well, our first official guest, and honoring International Women's Month is Samantha Mitchell, the founder and president of Black Women in Aviation. Go, girl! That's how we celebrate International Women's Month. That's for sure. Welcome, Samantha. Welcome. How are you?
I am doing amazing. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for coming. I mean, shoot. Look, when we said we're going to honor women, right? And I was like, oh, I know a black pilot. Boom. Black female pilot.
See, so this is where I get to have fun with Ivan.
Right. Right.
Everyone thinks that when you talk about aviation, it's pilot.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we're here to.
Or what is it? What is it?
So I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. Different, right?
Yeah.
So we want people to know about all of
We got it. Come on, let's rock and roll.
Let's go.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Aircraft mechanic by trade.
Yeah.
How did you get into flying?
So I'm not flying.
No.
I have flown.
Well, how did you get into that?
How did I get into that?
Yeah.
So my mama. So
It always starts with your mama.
Look, we start with our mom.
Yeah.
It's Women's Month.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
moms drive it. And
Shout out to your mom.
Shout out to mama. Okay, I know you're watching. But really it comes down to my mechanical aptitude that I had at an early age. And my mom was like, you need to do this. And I
Okay.
was like, okay, so what does this look like?
Okay.
Right.
And you don't know what you don't know. And for me, I was like, if I'm going to be leveraging my mechanical aptitude, I see car mechanics. And
Right,
so I was
right.
like, I guess I need to be a car mechanic.
Right.
And one day I got a brochure as I was in high school getting ready to prepare for college. And it was from Vaughn College of Aeronautics. And I was like, wait, I don't have to be an auto mechanic.
Wow.
There's an opportunity to be an aircraft mechanic and get a degree.
Okay.
And so that brochure within itself really changed the trajectory of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did that, right? What was it like? First of all, where are you from?
So born in Jamaica,
Okay,
and I grew up in New York.
got you.
And then I moved to Delaware for work about 20 years ago.
All right, what borough are you from New York?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the house. There's always somebody. Matter of fact, we have a bunch of Brooklyn watchers.
A bunch.
Yeah, the borough, right?
There's
So-
always Brooklyn.
Right.
So my family's originally from Bensonhurst.
Oh.
And they tune in. They're huge fans. Yes, they're fans of me, but they're really fans of Ivan. They love Ivan. So everybody in Brooklyn, all the family, friends, and there's a lot of them because the fan base keeps growing over there. They're tuning in. So I'm sure they're very excited that we have a Brooklyn native
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
So you came to Delaware 20 years ago. And you pursued the career in aviation. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and did you go to school in Delaware?
No, so the college I went to was right by LaGuardia Airport, Vaughn
Okay.
College of Aeronautics. So that's where I went to college.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after college, so quick story. I said I was Jamaican, right?
Right.
So I wanted to work for Boeing. So I'm like, okay, let's go get this job at Boeing.
Right.
And I basically got the job. I was sitting in front of my recruiter like this in St. Louis, and he said, secret clearance, top secret clearance. I said, don't have a job. You're not American.
Right.
And so, like, at that point, I was really at a crossroad, and I said, like, I never had a moment where not being an American citizen mattered.
Right,
And so
right.
my dream job was taken away from me because I wasn't an American.
Wow.
And so I decided, okay, Sam, you need to become an American citizen.
Right.
But during the interim, I still needed a job.
Right.
And so that's where I went back to my college. They were doing recruitment, and Air Jamaica was there. And so I got a job at Air Jamaica, and I became the first female mechanic working out at JFK for Air Jamaica.
Out of here.
Congratulations.
That's what's up.
There's that live
Yeah,
audience
that's-
energy. I love that.
That's
wow.
amazing.
That's
That-
an honor. Yes.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay. Coming from Brooklyn, black female coming from Brooklyn, like what type of obstacles did you have to face and being a mechanic, right? Not a car mechanic, but an industry that's not, you don't see too many representation of us.
Absolutely not. I mean, so,
And how did you get through that?
you know, it comes down to you have to thick. So I had a mentor, and she said, you just have to have thick skin. And even after she told me that, I didn't really understand, because you don't know what you don't know. And as I was going through it, like my first job, being the first female there, like I really had to pave the way. Like
Okay.
I wasn't the first black female.
Right.
So being a woman there, and when I got there, they cleared away all of their magazines because we worked third shift at the airport, so there wasn't a lot of other things going on. And so these gentlemen, they were just not supportive. There was a couple.
Right.
So it was really my job to find the allies.
Right.
And so once you find an ally, you really leverage that ally and know that that's your person. And so that's how I was able to really navigate my whole aviation journey, is always just finding that person that is on Team Sam. That's like,
I like it.
look, I got you.
Right.
I like it.
And I'm sure that I always say that your people will find you because you put out that energy, and I believe in that. Like, you have a good heart, you have a passion, you have that drive. That those individuals that are like-minded and that want to see you successful, they find you and you find them. So that's how God works. I do believe in that. That's how it works, and that's amazing that you did find those individuals that help champion you and encourage you through your journey, because yes, you had to have thick skin. I totally believe that. I really do, because when I think of aviation, I don't think of women in aviation at all.
Right.
I'm sure now more than ever before, there's so many women in aviation now, but not enough.
Are there a
Not
lot?
enough. I'm sure there's not enough.
The statistics are still low. I've been in aviation for over 20 years. It's like black women in aviation is less than 1%. Women in aviation is still like less than 10%.
Right.
The numbers are not growing at the rate in which we would like to see.
Okay.
Like we're still celebrating first.
Right.
Well, Samantha, you're breaking those barriers.
Yeah.
And you continue. Right. You're breaking those barriers. You're continuing to inspire someone, and I'm glad that you're here, because you never know who's watching.
Right.
That maybe is afraid to follow their career path in aviation. So that's important that you're here talking about it and having that conversation. But I want to just kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about your foundation, your organization. Tell us a little bit more about Black Women in Aviation, because you do have a specific niche that you talk about and you advocate for. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So, we talk about the non-existence of the community and having a lot of black women. And so I created what I didn't have. When I was going up through the ranks, there were none. And so I didn't really have an opportunity to have that safe space. And I didn't have the opportunity to see the opportunities that were available. And so Black Women in Aviation is really, we operate off of two pillars. And it's really driving the next generation of aviation professionals, all facets, not just pilots, mechanics, engineers, all of aviation.
Right.
And then also looking at those who are in aviation already and being able to create that community and the safe space, because retention is important.
Right.
The way we get beyond the 1% is by fueling the pipeline and retaining those who are already there.
Right. I love it. Some of the initiatives that you have, what are they? I know it's definitely community impact, but I see that you have on your website, you had some things for children.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, we hosted a Future Aviator event, and that was out in Pennsylvania. We connected with and partnered with the airport, and the kids got to front access the ramp. They got to go on these corporate jets.
Damn, call me for the next one.
Right? Grown people don't get these.
Was it?
I had fun. I feel like I'm feeling that inner child for myself. I'm like, this is cool. The kids really when asked how they loved it, all they talked about was the jets. It opened up an opportunity, and I said, so now that you're exposed to this means now you have to step your game up, because this is the life you want for yourself. Now you see it, you can achieve it.
Right.
And then this Saturday, we're working with Aviation Influence. We have Girls in Aviation Day. That's at the Northeast Airport. And so that's going to be another huge event that we're going to be there. We have another New Yorker. So Kamora Freeland, she is going to be there also as a guest, and she has gotten a lot of publicity over the last couple of weeks, just being one of the youngest Black female pilots.
Wow.
And so she's going to be there at 17, so she gets to inspire
17?
She's 17.
So wait a minute, okay, all right.
She don't even have a driver's license, Ivan.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Wait,
You know New York people don't have
but
driver's
access
licenses.
to, okay, so back at the event, right, when all the kids, what was their like I can just imagine their mind popping,
Yeah.
right? Being exposed to something like this. This is not about being exposed to like cars. This is jets. This is career path. This is like, what was that like for them?
I saw their eyes, because kids, when it was middle school and high school girls, so they come in and we're at the Fairfield Inn, and so they're in a conference room, and so they're kind of closed off. We're getting to know everyone. But when we took them out on to the aircraft, like at the airport, that's when we really saw them like excited. Like, they had their shirts on, they were posing, taking pictures, doing TikToks, all of the things. Like, you could just see their energy shift. Like, watching and being at the questions that they were asking, you saw their minds moving. So it was really, really great to see. And just knowing that, like, we planted seeds.
Yes.
And every time we do that, we're planting more seeds.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Wow. So you're a mechanic, motivational speaker, health enthusiast, right? Like, what else is it? I mean, superhero, you know what I mean? What's your best superhero pose?
Oh, well, like, of course, the power pose of women. Hello.
That's right. We did that last week. What's our superhero pose?
Right.
It's a superwoman.
Superwoman pose.
Superwoman pose. So yes, you were saying you wear many hats.
Yeah.
Yes.
You wear many hats, but I think to me it seems like you are a spokesperson for Black women in aviation. Not just you have an organization that provides resources and education and continuing the conversation, but you are a spokesperson because you're out there planting seeds, like you said. And that's where you're making the difference and an impact one by one. Like I said, you just never know who is listening and watching, and they're afraid to take that next step. So how can someone reach out to you? Because I'm sure there's someone out there that's listening and watching us today that is interested. How can they reach out to you directly? Tell us the website, tell us ways we can contact you.
So we like to keep things simple.
Right.
Black Women in Aviation. That's the website.
That's simple.
That's the handles. Real simple, right? I mean, when you think about it, and that's how people find us.
Right.
They're like, Black Women in Aviation. And so we pop up.
Yeah.
And so that's how we're able to grow.
Any Instagram?
Yes.
All right, what's the Black
Black
Women?
Women-
That's simple.
Easy.
All right, so I see on the 28th, Black Women in Aviation and the Legacy Flight Academy are teaming up to lead the Delaware inaugural Tuskegee Airmen Expo at Dover. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, we are so excited. This is going to be huge.
You got a lot of huge things on the plate right now, on the burner right now.
Busy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're busy too.
Not like this. I'm not a mechanic. I'm playing. Shoot.
So last year, Delaware signed Bill 22, which was recognizing Tuskegee Airmen Commemoration Day. And so a group of us got together and we said, so now what? Like, how do we build upon that? And we said, we want to celebrate it on the day. It's the 4th March of every year. And so we said, let's start and have an event. And we are going to invite like the junior ROTCs and specific schools that are going to be there. They'll get to come. They'll have a day of mentorship. They'll get to see exclusive aircraft that a lot of people don't get to see.
Right.
And really just learn from those who are in this space, because we'll have some specific guests that'll be there that'll be speaking. And so it's a day full of learning and just growing and having access.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get to go on an Air Force base any day of the week.
I know, right? You just can't walk on.
Just can't walk
Not
on.
this day and age.
No.
I'm super excited. Look, so what we want you to do, where's your camera? That's community camera right there, right?
Okay.
Go ahead and plug everything you want to plug in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Go.
Black Women in Aviation is here to support. I mean, when we talk about the legacy of those giants that were standing on their shoulders, that's what we're all about. Like, we are standing on their shoulders. And so now, like, when we talk about the event that we're having on the 28th, we want you to be a part of that. We want you to support. Go on our website, blackwomeninaviation.com, and see ways that you could support the organization, because we really do want to drive the next generation of future aviators and retain those who are in the aviation industry. And we want you to be a part of it.
Awesome.
My life is complete now.
But you want to know what, Ivan, though? Like, I'll tell you this. One thing that always comes up is the title itself scares people.
Yeah, why is that?
Because you think you have to be a black woman to be in Black Women in Aviation.
Oh, all right, good. There you go. All right.
All right.
All right.
You don't.
You don't.
It's about supporting the organization and the
Right.
cause that we are here for.
Yeah.
So anyone can endorse.
I love that.
Amazing.
I love that. All right, it's
Yes.
time for you to get in aviation. All right, out of pasta and aviation.
He's signing me up for everything. I'm polar bear plunge, parades, aviation. But, if I had more time, I feel that I would be intrigued to learn more about it because it is a valuable skill set. And it is a very, I think, in my opinion, an incredible career to pursue. So anybody that's interested in pursuing a career in aviation, I could see it being a very successful journey. So I wish you so much luck as you continue to raise awareness for aviation, especially Black women in aviation, but also for women in general, and anybody that's interested in endorsing. Again, don't be a stranger. Come visit us again, right? Ivan?
Just keep us updated, man.
With what's happening in the future, because that's really exciting what you're doing, we don't get to hear about this enough.
No.
So thank you for just having this conversation with us and being here.
I think you might need a Black woman in aviation podcast, but we'll talk about that later. No, I want to talk about this too, because one thing that we talk about is a lot is about mental health. Right, that's one of our pillars that we're DETV is standing on. How, and you being a health enthusiast, right, a guru, if you will, like, can you talk a little bit about mental health, like especially in that area of aviation, or just women in leadership, and how women can get some leadway and some help?
I mean, I think it's really important as women and humans to have that support system. You have to have an outlet. You have to have a mechanism in which you know that this is going on. This is the tool in my toolbox that I'm going to leverage in this moment to deal with the situation. So many people don't have the tools, and that's when they run into the problems. So, like, what are the tools that you can leverage? I mean, I do a lot of personal development, and I feel like it's really important to prime my mind. Like, I can't show up with a bunch of men who don't think that I belong at the table and not prime myself for that exposure, and knowing that, like, I have to show up a certain way.
Right.
Like, I might have to do a little extra than my peer who's a guy, because I'm a Black woman showing up at that table.
Right. And
understanding the circumstances and knowing that, what do I have to do in order to show up as my best self, and going and really doing the work. And it comes down to that mental priming, and then having the support system in place, because things are going to happen.
Right.
It's, what do you do when those things happen?
Right.
And who are you talking to?
Right.
And so you got to have an outlet.
Gotta have an outlet.
Got to have an outlet.
Samantha, keep taking up space. Take up all that space. Make sure you always have a seat at that table. Make room, because that's what we need, because you really are inspiring many, not just in aviation, just in general.
Shit, I'm inspired.
Right. I am too. I am too. And
Sorry,
this conversation has been so uplifting even for me, and I'm sure many have felt that energy that you give off, because you do have a really, like, awesome energy, right? We talk about energies all the time on the show.
So if you need a motivational speaker or someone to speak, there is a book now button on the website, and that's blackwomeninaviation.com. I love it. Samantha, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
All right. You can stop by anytime you want.
Yes.
Yeah, because I just love what you're doing. I love the exposure that you're giving a community that would never ever think about aviation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. All right. Anything else you want to say to the people before we get out?
Support in any way that you can. I mean, we're always here looking for great people to be a part of it. If you're a professional and you want to be a mentor, we're always looking for mentors. And then, I mean, there's always the financial support that's there. So we're here.
And it's a nonprofit, and the donate button is on the website.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you again for coming. Happy Women's Year.
Year.
Yes,
Year.
Happy Women's Year.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. Let's take a break, because when we come back, we're coming back with my man Ken Livingston, United Way, and the Spelling Bee champions. I want to see if they can spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious on that. All right.
I bet you they could. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.